Now we are going to study some of the discourses. The first one is dialogue. Dialogue include the role play. For example, today morning you call your best friend and you inquired about few things, and you and your best friend had a conversation with each other. So you have to write the conversation between two people written in first person. Okay, it's a telephonic conversation. It You might have an argument with your friend. Sometimes it might be a casual talk regarding Easter or Vishu, or it might be a job interview. Then tips. When you're talking to your friend or someone, we can take example, your best friend itself. You should know your characters well. Then when you are writing, you should know your characters well. Then play the role of your characters. Be dynamic. Do not over explain. And last one, read. Okay, you shouldn't explain why this came, why that came, and all. You just simply formally say that. Okay. Mm. In question answer, we have to explain the things, but here do not explain too much. Okay, here is an question Dr. A.J. Cronin had with Hassan. It was in the last year question. Okay, here previous year question 2021. Nomita in the story Matchbox faces many insults from her husband Ajit. At last, one day, she tells her sister in law the whole story. Prepare the lively conversation between the two women in at least four exchanges. Here, Namita and her husband had a fight the last night, and Namita, is calling her sister in law and telling all these things, and you have to write a conversation between them. 4 points from Nomita's side and the 4 points from sister-in-law's side. Okay, so you have to write Nomita. Hello Susan, how are you? You can, for example, I took Susan as a name, and Susan. Hello Nomita, glad to hear from you. I am fine. How have you been doing? Or how are you doing? So, Namita, I'm not feeling that good because I am currently in a bad situation, and staying with a friend of mine because of my family problems. I need a help from you. So, the sister-in-law. You can write sister-in-law. Then put two dots and say, yes, surely. How can I help you? Please explain your problem, or please share your problem with me. Likewise, you should continue that conversation, and make sure that you write 4 from Nomita's side and 4 from sister-in-law's side. And in question, it is written that it's specified that you have to write 4 exchanges, so that you should compulsorily write it. And next topic is informal letter. Here, just think that you are studying abroad and you wanted to write a letter to your parents. Example, you wanted to write a letter to your grandmother. So an official letter is a non-official letter that we usually write to our friends, family, or relatives. These letters are very personal to us, so do not use any formal words here. Okay, this is the informal letter format. First, you have to write from address, and no need for writing to address, because not necessary. From, date, salutation. When we write a formal letter, okay, formal letter comes, we'll distinguish between those things. In formal letter we should write from, date, then salutation, then introduction, main body, conclusion. Okay, but in the formal letter there is no to address, no subject. Okay, and also check. Okay, let's see. From, date, salutation, main body, conclusion, then signing off. Yours faithfully, Appukutten. Okay. I'll give an example, or I'll read this out so it will be helpful to you. From address you have to write, then you have to write the date and then the subject. Subject, no, salutation, then the subject. It took 9 days to reach India. I had to submit my papers connected with my civil service training. I'm quite well. I hope you and your mom are fine. As I had promised you, I went to Monroe and visited Frank's grave. I offered some very fine rose flowers on his grave and prayed for his res- response of his soul. I remembered you and your mom while I was standing at Frank's grave. I met some of Frank's colleagues. They spoke very fine words about Frank. I told them about you and your mother. What can we do? Let's remember him in our prayers. When I visit England the next time, I shall certainly visit you. Please convey my regards to your mother. Let's hope to meet at the earliest. Yours faithfully, Gupta. Yeah, this was a story which we had learned the previous year. Yeah, we have learned the last year, and I have given you this example because the content or the grammatic and the discourses in class 11 and class 12 is almost the same. So most probably, if the sometimes the examiner might put questions, or not the exact question, but a pattern, or yeah, the pattern or the form, some discourses which are included in class 11th. Okay, formal letter, it's we write to our principal of a school or a college, to the editor and all. So I have explained you that. Unless you have to write yours sincerely, don't write truthfully. Okay, truly, don't write truly, or you have to write sincerely. In informal letter you can write it as faithfully, but here you shouldn't use it. Then, okay, letter to the editor. This was asked in the previous year 2021. For my letter, it's as earlier said, from, date, address, salutation, but here we use subject. Okay, like it's a kind of formal and informal mixed with each other. Here it's almost similar as the it's almost similar as an informal letter, but you should add subject and the content should be written formally. Then comes job application. Okay. CV I'll discuss later. Make sure that you took a screenshot of this. email. It's not too formal. We use separate paragraphs and we keep it very short and the format. 2. BCC, CC, subject, dear. Here we earlier we wrote dear then subject. Here we wrote subject then dear. Then in 3 paragraphs, at last you're truly Appukutan. Truly. Okay. So this was email came in the year 2021. So today we have discussed email, letter to the editor, then formal letter, informal letter, then I have said you that I'll explain CV later. So conversation means the dialogue. Okay, now we'll talk about the debate. Debate, the topic is for or against. Here, Donald Trump is against that person. Okay, means the topic is global warming is decreasing due to humans' effort. So Donald Trump is saying against this statement and the other person is supporting the statement. So here the tips should be very informative, well recent, then it should be in an orderly way. In 2021 the question was, your class is conducting a debate on the topic environmental conservation is more important than economic growth. Environmental conservation is more important than economic growth. Definitely, I really support this statement. Write 4 arguments in favor of or against the topic. I'll write, if I get an opportunity to write this question, I'll write 4. It's 4. When you have to understand this thing. When the statement is a good positive vibe question, you should support it and say. If the question is a negative, contain a negative meaning, you should write against it. It's all about your wish, but try to write in such a way. And if you don't focus on protecting our environment, okay. And then this is an example. Environment is essential for not just human survival but also for all organisms. If you don't focus on protecting our environment, future generation will have to bear the consequences. And pollution and destruction of Mother Nature has great consequences. I really support the statement and that's why I said for this statement. And that's why I said environment is essential for not just human survival but also for all the organisms, and we should focus on the environment. And pollution and destruction of the Mother Nature has great consequences. Okay.